Get it. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Seagull Talk Football. We are back again with another video. It is a Sunday night Premier League roundup. We're going to be talking about Liverpool going top of the Premier League. We're going to be talking about Chelsea and Cole Palmer breaking records, scoring 4 goals in the first half. First ever player to ever do that in Premier League history. Man City slip up to Newcastle, and we were telling VATOR, are you concerned? Are you worried? No Rodri. It's Newcastle. Do you forget the 3-3? Do you remember last year? It only took a late winner. And he didn't care. He did not care. He said they were going to get the job done. They did not get the job done. And now he finds himself in this situation. Then you go to, who was after that? We had to talk about Arsenal. We got a late winner. People saying we're lucky. People saying that was a great goalkeeping performance. All sorts of different theories around that game. But we're going to get into that also. And unfortunately, Calafrio, he might be injured. Arsenal, that's Arsenal. So we spoke about City, we spoke about Chelsea, we spoke about Liverpool. What's next? The Man United Spurs game. Ten Hag, if he doesn't get sacked after this, I don't know what's going to happen with Ten Hag, but his career at Manchester United is now on the line, and I don't know if he's going to last much longer. So let me know. I've started a poll question in the chat. If you guys think Ten Hag will be sacked, let me know in the comment section. But before we go any further, do me a favor. Please do hit that like button. Please do hit that subscribe button. We got Ahmed in the building, Bridge Nation in the house. How you feeling, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Hope you do well. Always feeling sensational, man. But yeah, man, good week of pictures, I have to say, man. Good week of pictures in terms of like results and everything like that. So looking forward to it.
You're loving life. You're loving life. The bridge must have been popping yesterday.
Of course, man. Of course it was popping, man. I think we had, I think yesterday's game, definitely, man, big up to Cole Palmer, had a really fantastic performance. I just think he's showing us just like, the level that he's at right now, the output he's bringing in and everything like that. But yeah, big up to Cole Palmer. Again, performance-wise, I think we were good. There's like a few things that obviously we can still improve upon against Brighton that we saw. But listen, that was our toughest competition and we overcame it. So, of course, man, happy about it another day. So, but I told you guys, innit? So you're gonna be Brighton. So that was barbecue chicken.
I forgot to send the link to one of the guys. I'm gonna send the link to them now. How did I forget to send the link to Rich? I sent the link to Jay. I sent the link to VATOR. So they're going to be joining us any moment now. But yeah, you know what? While we're waiting for the boys, we're going to have to talk about Cole Palmer. We're going to have to talk about all these guys. But before we talk about any of those games, was there any other Premier League game this weekend that caught your eye?
There's only one that's caught my eye, bro. The one that caught my eye. But the other one that really did catch my eye, I would say, the Aston Villa game. The Aston Villa, it was a good Ipswich game. I thought that was a very good game. But the one, the one that caught our eye, bro. It happened just right now. It ended like roughly an hour ago. The big fixture. And Manchester United, innit? Manchester United, bro. That's the one.
Yeah, you know what? While we're here talking about Manchester United, Rich just joined us. Jay's going to join us in a bit also. If you guys don't know Rich's channel, Rich, just remind the people, it's United, RD United TV.
Yeah, TV, but RD United TV works. I posted in the comments asking for a link, so hopefully people can find it there. But I'm starting to regret doing a match reaction every match because I want to watch the game and then go live straight away, and I'm just like, I'm running out of things to say. I've got no positives left, put it that way.
I was actually going to start with the Liverpool-Wolves game, just get that out of the way, as I felt like that was kind of a nothing game. We'll save the United for when Jay shows up. But Wolves versus Liverpool. Liverpool are top of the league. Guys, do you really think Liverpool are contenders, or are they just top of the league right now because it's early and it's only a small sample size?
I think the thing with Liverpool is that they still have that spine that won in the league, right? So they still have that talented 11 that pushed for the league last season. I just think for me, it's now going to be about, and I said this before, once the Champions League now is you're back in with the Champions League, that Wednesday, Tuesday, Saturday, or the Wednesday, Sunday fixture, whenever that takes place, is going to be where we see Liverpool can handle the pressure. Because I think for me, it's going to come down to if they get injured, can they still continue to play slot style of play? That's what it's. So with Liverpool, as of anything, it's just going to come down to we need a bit more data. As I always say, a bit more data.
Too early to say we are title contenders.
I think that's fair. They've definitely got all the players at the moment. I think they're solid top 14. They're probably, for me, going to be in a title race for at least like Christmas time. I think you're going to look at over the course of the season. I don't think they've got the depth for. I don't think they're going to be pushing City and Arsenal. I think they're going to be third or fourth.
All right, we got Rack in the building, and we only have him for a short time period. Rack, do you have a light there?
He's in darkness, man.
Rack is literally trying to sort out his camera and everything. Jay, we're just talking about Liverpool before we get onto Spurs United. Yeah. But talk to me. Rack, are you on roads or what's going on?
I'm literally driving. So
I just turn your camera off, make it safer for yourself. Just give us your thoughts.
What about yesterday's game?
Liverpool being top of the table, Konate's performance, Gravenberch. Just give us whatever you think about the whole game.
I've said it before. You guys kind of know my opinion to some extent. I'm gonna hold out judgment because I need to see more. New manager coming in. A lot of the players are the same, like granted, and the style of play, whilst different, isn't a massive departure from where we've been. But at the same time, we last season, for example, we weren't in the Champions League, so it made things a little bit easier for us. Now we got Champions League football. There are big challenges, which I understand why people would have question marks about whether we're going to achieve that same level. I think we can, and I think with the way that Slot is managing the squad at the moment is a positive, but we'll see. I think, look, if we play at our match, then we're a match for any team in the league. We can beat Arsenal, we can beat City for sure, right? The question mark is whether we can do it across a 38-game season, and I understand why people will have concerns about that. I think we can do it, but it's not going to be easy because Arsenal are playing very well, and City obviously are City.
The way you said you could beat Arsenal and City for sure, are you saying at home, or are you just saying on a
No. If we play to our best, we can beat any team.
Okay, yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah. I mean, look, obviously, if Arsenal play to their best and City play to their best, and we play to our best, then it's a tough game for both sides. I think we've proven, and the players we have also demonstrated, that we're a match for any team in the world if we play to our potential. But you have to do it across a 38-game season. There are going to be games where you're not playing your best, like yesterday. And I don't think yesterday's performance was very good, to be honest. But we did enough to win, and that's all that matters. The poor performances, you just want the win. And when the good performances come, and hopefully they come against Arsenal and City and the other big teams we play, then hopefully that'll be enough to win the games.
You guys are really good at set pieces also, and it's like that's something that's just something that everyone should notice now. Like everyone talks about Arsenal being good at set pieces.
I think Van Dijk obviously has been a massive threat ever since he joined us. His first goal was on his debut against Everton from a corner and was the winning goal. So Van Dijk, everybody knows that he's a threat. But hopefully, Konate hasn't been as much of a threat since he's joined. But 2-2 now, and hopefully, if he can give us another potential angle of attack, and we can get. Look, I always say, like from a central defender's point of view, if you can get 4 or 5 goals in a season, you're doing excellently. So Konate has 2. If he can get another 3, 4 goals, maybe Van Dijk weighs in with another 3 or 4 goals. That could, those points that you accumulate from those wins or those draws could be the difference. So yeah, let's see.
Fair enough. Rack, man, really do appreciate it. You get back to your driving. Drive safe.
No problem.
You're inside, man. Done now. So yeah, let's be honest. The Liverpool game, I wanted to get a Liverpool fan on to talk about it because I feel like that was a game it was late Saturday. Some people might have been out, some people might not have been watching it. And let's be honest, they won the game. It's a game to forget. It's a game to forget in the sense that it was kind of sloppy. It was a victory for Liverpool, and at the end of the day, not too many headlines from that game. Konate had a little slip up, but he was still one of the best players on the pitch. Gravenberch was outstanding and had a good start to the season. But I really kind of want to get to this United Spurs game, as this is the one stealing all the headlines right now. And Jay's on time. Everyone's here. Let's go. Let's talk about that, because that is the main story right now. United, surely Ten Hag has to be sacked. Jay, I'm sorry to undersell your team, but you guys played well. But United being terrible is the main.
We played very well. Like we played. United were terrible, but some of it was we made them look terrible. Some of it is they
How,
are just.
how much would you say? 50, 40, 30, 20?
I would. So first of all, like from my point of view, when I've watched Spurs play this season, when we played Newcastle, they played a low block. Played Arsenal, you played a low block. Played Brentford, they didn't play a low block, and we created loads of chances. Played Everton, they played a low to mid block, but not of the same level and quality that Newcastle and you guys showed, and we ripped them apart. United, they came to, I was thinking to myself that the issue United had was the Twente result. So the Twente result to me might have changed the way they went about this game, because you want a result, you want to be on the front foot for the fans and stuff like that. And they were just tactically out of possession. United are quite a poor side. Like the press is disjointed. The gaps between the players themselves. Like for example, I don't want to shit on Ugarte, but you're the 6, yeah. On that Van der Ven run, you out of everybody on this pitch, yeah, that's your job, to be able to understand danger and smell danger and stuff like that. You should probably take a booking there. Do you know what I mean?
The thing about Ugarte is that, again, if United had done their homework, had watched them in League, and as I said to many United fans before, as someone who watches League quite consistently, they would know that this is what Ugarte does. You know what I mean? This is something that doesn't actually shock me in regards to a player like Ugarte at the end of the day. But I just think, I think defensively, the stuff that you were doing and able to break them down, I think that was actually Tottenham's doing really. I think that's stuff you have to give them for, particularly when you were attacking their defense. But I think, again, for me, my issue with United is just that, I think you are trying to get Bruno to do the over-the-top ball to Rashford or Garnacho and to make things happen, essentially, right? And I think when you went 1-0 down, there were times where you were kind of being successful at doing so. Rashford obviously got that chance which he hit at the goalkeeper. He had another chance where he was kind of running essentially, but he ran out of space to put the ball in for Garnacho. And even Garnacho had another chance, I think, in the first half too, where he hit the post. So you were getting some level of luxury, but I just think it was just like a lethargic performance by Man United. Like, they looked lethargic. They didn't look like,
And just to add on to that point, remember, a lot of these Spurs players played with 10 men versus.
Yeah, I made that point on my stream earlier, that you played a day later, you got a player sent off after 7 minutes, was it? So you played the whole match pretty much with 10 men. And right from the start, Spurs were all over Manchester United. So I know, trying to find positives and say Rashford had a bit of a chance, Garnacho had a bit of some joy down the
Garnacho
line.
had more than a chance. He should have scored that.
No, that was a bit of a difficult one. That goal was a bit difficult, I'll be honest here.
That would have been an absolute worldie if he scored that.
That was that one you have to give him.
I'm not begrudging him missing that. I think the Vicario low down save, that's a really good save.
Xerxes, by the way, Xerxes, that was criminal. The shot.
But the thing is that Spurs, Solanke against Leicester. I don't know if you guys watched the Tottenham Leicester game, but Solanke had a chance that was somewhat similar. He hit it too close to the goalkeeper. You got to really get it in that corner. I want to ask the question though, obviously, because listen, I'm really happy for Tottenham. We haven't beaten a top 6 team away. That's Andrew's first top 6 away win. Yeah,
16 win.
So, I know. Yeah, so we've not beaten. We've not done this since Villa away last season, which I think was about March when we beat them 4-0. But this for me is this should have a very good impact on the squad and the team for Tottenham. We've had against Coventry 2 minutes, right at the end to go through, playing 10 men against Karabakh, winning 3-0, going to United, the team is taking. I can see the team taking steps in front of my eyes. They're digging in. They're not moaning. They're just getting on with it. And to me, I saw a team people have to understand. No Son, no Richarlison, Odegaard new signing. He's not available either. So Spurs were missing a good definitely one starting attacker, another attacker in Odegaard who definitely would have probably started over Werner, and then also Richarlison. So it means that minimal opportunity to rotate Solanke. So Bentancur I thought was really good. And if you look at the midfield that Spurs played today, Spurs said, we're coming to play football. Like all of this DM, no, Bentancur, Kulu, Maddison, that's our three. We're coming here to play football. Yeah, none of this like pace and power. No, we want to play football. Like, and that midfield, you've got someone like Bentancur who can break lines. You've got someone like Maddison who's a playmaker. You've got Kulusevski who can dribble, who can pass. And United, Bruno wasn't on it. Kobe has issues out of possession anyway because he's not the fastest.
Exactly.
So when you play a style of play which exposes the weaknesses of your players, that for me is when we now move back to United. And as much as I want to praise Tottenham, it was like United came to play and they kind of were like, okay, we're going to try and, like you mentioned, hit the ball over the top. But Van der Ven's a bit of a cheat code with that kind of stuff. So you're not really, if you look back at the Newcastle game, for example, when Newcastle scored their winning goal, Van der Ven wasn't playing in that game. Do you see what I mean? And that pass that, you know, beat Dragusin and beat Romero, if Van der Ven was playing, would they have scored that goal? He probably gets back. Do you know what I mean? So United today, and just to look at their players specifically, I think it's too early for me to criticize people like De Ligt and Ugarte too much. But for me, it's the players that have been there a while that are the players I really want to look at. I think just before you go, Martinez has declined very badly.
The injuries have caught him, Jay. The injuries have caught him.
But also, in fact, the style of play as well. Sorry, you go.
I want to stay on one topic for a second.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to stay on the Martinez topic, let's talk about it right now.
Yeah. So Lisandro Martinez, came to the Premier League, started really well, was a top player, in possession, is ball playing, his playmaking, was a real asset to the team. We talked about his height and this and that, blah, blah, blah. But now what I'm seeing from Martinez is so different to what he brought when he first came. The ball playing I'm not seeing it. Like, I'm not seeing his passing, his breaking lines, his angles. That seems to be gone. The more expansive that United play, the more ground he has to cover as a player. And I'm seeing somebody who is a lot more, I don't want to say rash. I want to say.
Do you know what it is though? Do you know where the rashness comes from, Jay? And I'll say this here. When I forgot the injuries there, because I think it wasn't. I know one was like a muscle injury, if I'm not mistaken, and I think it was there
for a while with one.
Yeah, because he had like almost back-to-back injuries, but he had like a period in between that he was still playing. Yeah. But the thing is, like, you know, when you have those type of like big injuries, right, and then you and particularly the size that he is and the stuff that he needs to do. And you've lost that bit of physicality now, you know, and a bit of pace as well because of those injuries. It becomes harder for you to do what you used to do now, right? Yeah. Because
and just to double up on that as well. And it's not necessarily like I thought he was particularly poor on the second goal. Weak.
I think he did exactly what Maguire did midweek in terms of he lunged in out of position and then completely missed the ball. And we saw exactly like we saw against FC20. So I don't know how much I give Spurs a lot of credit. But I'm seeing exactly the same thing week in, week out with my team, regardless of Spurs, FC20. Like Van der Ven, incredibly pacey.
The run that Van der Ven made was quite similar to
the FC20 player went from centre back to centre back.
Can I show you guys a graphic of this? Because this is ridiculous. I had it ready too. The man went from his own half of the pitch and was in the final third, making a cross across the box. And first of all, Onana couldn't even get to it. No defender could get to it. Martinez was
but can you say it's a really good cross at the end as well?
That was impressive. First of all, the run that he made was impressive. Probably one of the best runs I've seen. He made that goal. He's a defender. He's a center back. and he
one of the
made
best assists you're going to see from a defender, because like that
Exactly.
costs as well to beat all those people to pick out someone unmarked at the back.
You know what he reminded me of
I just
when he
want to
was
link
running.
it back to 1 second. I just want to link it back to Martinez. Martinez, on the other hand, he in the same position gets beat by Brendan Johnson, and it leads to a goal.
It's true.
So it just goes to show you, it just goes to show you the difference. People who are putting Martinez in combined 11s with Tottenham all day, I've been seeing that. Ridiculous. It's 2024. Get it through your heads. Martinez at best should be playing left back for United, because you guys once Euro gets back, there's no team, there's no spot in the team for him, in my opinion.
One thing I wanted to ask as well, Rich, is that in terms of the performance now, obviously Martinez's performance, I think the Premier League is a first impression league. So if you come to the Premier League and you make a good first impression, it will give you a pass for a long time. You know, like people will always go back to it. And with Martinez now, Mazraoui, these players, it's like the quality of the player is, to me, interesting to say, okay, is this formation and tactics exposing these players a little bit more? Or are these players not, you know, tippy top tier of what United need? Because all teams have good players now. Do you know what I mean? So when I'm looking at United, and you know, you're going to look at the formations and stuff, and if a new manager comes in, like when you've outlaid an amount of money like on Ugarte and Xerxes and Højlund and stuff like that, and a new manager comes in and says, that's not the kind of forward I want, that's not the kind of midfielder I want, you then need to outlay again. And I guess my first thing is, it's very early to judge these players, but the newer players, have they, I guess my question is, have the new players enhanced the team to the level that you felt they would, or they're capable of?
I think De Ligt and Mazraoui, you look at them, and apart from this game, I think Mazraoui has done quite well overall. And if you look at him replacing that Wan-Bissaka, probably same sort of price. De Ligt, I think, has made it more apparent that Martinez has dropped off. You see someone that, okay, this is a poor game to talk about any of our players, but in terms of like over the season, De Ligt has looked a lot better than Martinez on the ball. He's a threat from set pieces. He looks more organised. Our defence has looked generally better with him. I think what we've done is maybe we've raised the quality of the team overall with some players. It doesn't look that way, but I think Martinez has dropped off quite a lot, like you said. We're seeing things in other games. This isn't just a one-off game with Martinez. I think the whole season, you see, like was it FC20 played where he dived in and he's doing some stupid things, which shows like a frustration. I think he knows that as soon as Euro comes in, he's looking at being a reserve or backup or something. I think Martinez has dropped off, and I think you can tell that because he knows he's not playing that well, because some of the things he's doing are just rash and the sort of stupid things he wasn't doing last season. But I think overall, like Ugarte as well, I can't say too much about Ugarte because he's barely played, but over the last season, you look at whoever's in Manchester United's midfield, it doesn't really matter. I think the way our team's organised is poor, and it does highlight weaknesses in our team. And it's really frustrating because every time I do a stream, people are saying, right, this player's the problem, this player's the problem. We've almost replaced the whole team. And at some point, you've got to go look at the structure, look at what the manager's asking the players to do, and it's making us look worse.
Do you know what the issue is, Rich? Before you go, Igal, let me just make this last point.
I just want to introduce Vader. Vader, welcome to the show. And I think I need to fix up the panel because the winner should be on the top row. So just saying.
All right. Yeah, so I just want to add like one more point quickly I want to add one thing to the Rich point, which is that I think, you know, one of the things I was saying about United was that I thought this was going to be like a transitional season. Like, but then, you know, because like there's some players you've brought in where I'm like, Xerxes probably needs a season or two to actually embed in, right? You've got Højlund from last season, who I still believe probably needed time to embed in, but it kind of came in at the wrong time. You've got Euro, another guy that probably needs time to embed in, but then at the same time, you brought in guys like De Ligt, you brought in guys like Mazraoui, even though I don't personally rate him, a guy like Ugarte even. So it's like, I don't know, like, I don't even know where you're kind of at, because like there's some players you've brought in for the future, there's some players you've brought in now, like, it's almost like a vision issue that I'm kind of seeing, if that makes sense, from at least a player perspective.
There's some of the signings like Manchester United have got like Xerxes, who people say, okay, he's a creator, not necessarily a goal scorer. Okay, fine, but you need goals to come from somewhere. And Højlund, again, is a young striker that people keep saying, okay, his best years are in a few years' time. So I think it's a bit weird that a club the size of Manchester United is thinking, let's buy loads of players that we think are going to be better in 2 or 3 years. Because where's the evidence that Manchester United is actually developing players? Apart from Mainu and Garnacho who've come through the youth, where's the evidence that we drop these players into Ten Hag's team and the coaches and the manager are going to elevate them to the next level? Because at the moment, over 2 years, I'm struggling to think of players that haven't naturally just progressed because of their age, like Garnacho and Mainu. Has Rashford improved a lot? Have other players improved a lot? I don't see it. So it's a bit of a weird one in terms of, we only had Ineos here for 6 months or one transfer window. So I think overall the transfer window seems better because we're buying players that aren't sort of 35, like Casemiro. We're not paying 60 million for Mount, but we have got obviously these contracts from previous windows. But I think it's the way that it's looking at the moment, the season looks like a massive mess, that we're just hoping that all these players somehow hit the ground running. And I think it's going to get worse, unfortunately, before it gets better, which probably means that Ten Hag is going to be on limited time, because I don't see him getting the best out of the players we have got.
No, I hear it. I'm just gonna say, everyone, let me know. Are you guys Ten Hag in as rivals? Because I think that's the biggest compliment you can give to a manager.
That's what you need to know, isn't it?
I mean, but this is the thing. I think this is a great example of, there's teams like Arsenal who haven't won any trophies in the last 2 years, and the fans are quite happy with the direction and what the club's doing. And then there's United who've won 2 trophies in the last 2 years, and the fans are pretty clear on the difficulties of the team and the issues with structure. And some of the,
because those trophies can paper over cracks.
Of course. But the thing is that at the end of the day, that's what we're all in here for. But I think it's very interesting to see the I guess the flip-flop style, because when Ollie is doing nice stuff and they're finishing second and they're all enjoying their football and the fan base is feeling positive, we're not winning trophies, yeah. And now you're winning trophies, yeah. And the league performance has dropped off. Now it's like, oh my God, we're not consistent. And it's sometimes you can't have it all at the same time. And it's very interesting to see a lot of the same fans will be on both sides of it, because it's human nature. It's human nature to in real time see your rival's grass is really green and think, oh, why can't we do that? But I think for me, looking at United and where they go moving forward, Ineos came in and they said Ten Hag's our guy. Yeah, that's what they said. They did the review and they said this is the guy we're going forward with. So for me, it's very interesting to see how can you do a deep dive, say this is your guy, and then 6 to 10 games into the season sack him.
They can't.
The thing is,
one second, they can though.
Yeah, they can. But the reason why they can, Jabe, is because and Rich can, I think, can back me up on this. Before they even decided to give Ten Hag whatever he was going to get given, they went to a number of managers that apparently were known about. Some of them some of them obviously rejected United. Some of them they couldn't come to an agreement in regards to maybe vision, salary, whatever it was. And then there was somewhere they just were out like, no, we don't want you at all. Like that approach.
Do you think it's like the other managers looked at Manchester United and thought this season's going to be a difficult season? Then these managers, maybe they look at Manchester United in a year's time, say like whatever happens this season, like you said, all the players that we signed, they get a year in the Premier League. We can find out whether they're good enough, or we get a transfer window in like January. We get another one in the summer. Those managers might look at Manchester United in a different light 12 months time. But they probably looked at Manchester United now and thought, okay, you sign like 5-6 players you think are going to walk into the first team. You've got a lot of other issues. You're trying to move other contracts on. They just saw this season as being like, we don't want to be part of a transitional season at United. We'll let Ten Hag see what he can do. And I think for Ineos, it kind of, if the season's a disaster, they can just go, right, we gave Ten Hag a chance, it didn't work out. They can then address a new manager, look for a new manager. But I think the managers just thought it was too much of a toxic job at the time, and just thought it's like there's not very much reward because we won the FA Cup. They don't see us winning much this season. I think they just dodged it.
Wow, because I think for me, we'll just continue on. It's just like, okay, let's say you Ten Hag is sacked now, right? How can you approach a manager at this moment in time? Because what the situation is, and who can you even bring in?
They have Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Listen, I respect Ruud van Nistelrooy. I was watching him when he was manager of KSB.
I played against him.
You know what I mean? He's a talented guy. And he's a talented manager. When I saw him play, he's got a style of football. But then you have to question how much is he adding to the current, tactics.
He's an interim, like Oli, and if he gets the job, he gets the job. But right now, Man United, this is the reasons why I would keep Ten Hag as a rival, because he's making everything worse. He's losing them games from the job.
But I'll ask you a question, Gal. I've got a question for you, Gal. Yeah, you can answer this as well with your thing. Do you necessarily think, after let's say the new manager bounce here, there's going to be an improvement from what you're going to get from Ruud van Nistelrooy as the interim than what you're going to get from Ten Hag in this current form?
100%. And I'm going to bring Vader into this in a second. I do think this team is better than what they are currently doing. And I think there's certain performances. You look at the Brighton performance. You look at the performance last week. I forget who'd you guys play last week where you guys were really doing well and then you ended up getting a draw.
Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace.
I think he's not sticking to his principles. I think mid-game, he's getting away from his principles and he's just throwing the kitchen sink at it, and it's actually setting them backwards at times. Guys like Rashford, guys like Bruno, Mason Mount completely signed him and just became absolutely useless.
I think he's concussed now. We can't even play if I'm not mistaken again for the next game.
His identification of midfielders, his midfielder identification has been terrible. Every midfielder he's brought into the club, none of them have been useful except for Casemiro for his first season. And even guys like their best midfielders currently for possession or getting them goals or getting a style of play are Kobe Mainoo, who came from the academy, and Bruno, who's already there before he signed. He's not improving the team at all. People are going backwards. You bring in a new face, a new player, a new manager. First thing that's going to do, those players are going to show levels better than what they're currently doing. But yeah, Vader, talk to me, man. Manchester United, you see them doing bad. You see Spurs winning the game. Do you think it's more Spurs being good or Man United being bad?
Yo, that's a lot being said. And first, let me say this right from the jump. Rich, this is not directed at you. We don't have the history. We don't have no beefs. This is not directed at you. But the other United fans that have been on this panel before, where is Monty? The other United fans.
Monty can never show up on streams ever again.
Where's Kaz? Where's Kaz? He's been talking.
Yeah, man. Where's the other United fans, man? Where's the ones that are talking heavy?
Kaz will be on Never Power later today. He literally went to go buy a car and he's gonna be on traffic on the way home from
good time.
Sunday car day, yeah. Sunday car day, yeah.
Danny told me he has a long week and he can't make it. Staffy unfortunately can't make it. Greg's he's working. So what can you do?
Yeah. I mean that's what happens when it's this bad. People got other things to do, right? When it's this bad, I've seen United fans go on loan to Real Madrid. But I'm gonna address this real quick. I've heard this before. No disrespect, Rich. I heard this with Moyes. I heard this with Van Gaal. I heard this with Jose. And I heard this with Ollie. There's a point where these United fans, not you, Rich, because I don't know you like that, but these United fans get to a certain threshold where they always look at the other clubs, look at style of play, look at winning. I want this. I want it all. They want it all like they had it with Sir Alex Ferguson. I don't care whether you get a new manager or not. This is staying the same because it's been the same since Sir Alex Ferguson left. It's been the same. There's a certain amount of tolerance, and then it all comes crashing down. There's a certain amount of hope and optimism. Oh, this new manager bounced. Oh, the Glazers are finally got the right person in here. Ineos supposedly got everything right. Let's give Ineos a shot. It's going to happen again. That's why I was chilling, enjoying my French toast, just relaxing, listen to what Rich had to say.
Are you hoping? Are you hoping that the same trend continues?
No, there's no hope. I don't care. I honestly believe they can get the next manager in, same problems. There's no keep Ten Hag. There's no, I'm worried if they get Zidane. I don't care who they get. It's going to be this. So
I think is it a matter of patience? Is your thing better? They don't have the patience, or do you just think
United fans don't have patience for anything?
That's what I think it is. I think that's what
they don't have it. They don't have patience for what Egal had to tolerate. Imagine their manager, the new manager coming into United, had to do what Egal had to tolerate. They're losing their minds.
I don't think they could tolerate a Chelsea 12th place, bro. You know what I mean? That was bad. I was in. You know what I mean? That was real mud, bro.
I hear it, but I'm gonna say real quick. Blame the players, blame the manager. I don't care. United's radioactive. It's Chernobyl. That's why they need a new stadium. For I don't know if there's dead bodies buried underneath the grounds. I don't know if they did something.
Oh my
There's something
God.
wrong at United. It's not coming back. So I'm honestly, if you think I'm gaslighting, say keep Eric Ten Hag, I don't care. If you say I'm gaslighting, saying keep these players, I don't care. United, you're bummy, and you're bummy, and you're going to remain bummy. Sorry, Rich, but because of the tolerance and patience of your entire fan base, I hear that United can't fail. United are too big to fail. Well, you know what? You're also too big. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're winning or not. Your fans keep buying kits, right? You're going to expand the stadiums and you're not winning anything. Well, sorry, actually you're winning trophies and your fans are still kicking off. You're winning trophies and your fans are still kicking off. Your fan base said last season was the worst season that they remember. And they finished 8th. We've had clubs get relegated. We've had clubs that have actually finished below 8th place with no trophies. And they're saying that was the worst season ever. Now, I got no sympathy. Change your manager. I don't care. Eric Ten Hag remains. I don't care. Continue. Long may it continue. The game in itself, how are you going to... Actually, let me bring it back to the game. How are you going to blame Eric Ten Hag on the red card? How are you going to blame Eric Ten Hag for a defender running from his half through the entire squad and giving off an assist for the goal? Is Eric Ten Hag on the pitch? Is there a moment where the players are supposed to be playing for the badge? Hey, blame who you want to play. This game showed that Spurs, Jay, you didn't talk with Chess before the game. You should have talked with Chess before the game, but you got the win, which you predicted.
Yeah, I'm back to you, Jay. I was telling them, like, you've got a style of play. That's the difference.
Yeah.
You have a style of play that works. That was what's going to beat them. It was just as simple as that.
All I got to say is, Vader,
we still hadn't beaten a top 6 team away.
Vader, that
so
was your most
I had to temper it.
Vader, that was your most epic rant in a while. So I got to But I'm just gonna say.
I know it's Vader. Do you wanna maybe say a little on Spurs, because it was United heavy. I get it, but now over to Spurs.
I was actually gonna compliment Spurs for a second. Brendan Johnson is an example showing that when you criticize a player, sometimes it makes them get their act going in the right direction, because he started playing well. He started playing well after criticizing him. He's scored every single game and contributed 2 goals in this game. Brendan Johnson did his thing. Also, Timo Werner needs to fix up. He had 2 one-on-ones. You could have had another 4. You could have had 4 goals, 5 goals easily.
One thing I want to say. Let
me finish up. Solanke got a goal. I'm trying to compliment your team. We already spoke about Van de Ven.
What do you think about Solanke, Igal?
I think the thing about Solanke is he's going to get.
Are you seeing why we bought him now?
No,
I can't lie to you.
I still don't see anything that's
Solanke. I'm waiting as I said before. I'm waiting for more data, but as of currently, it's looking a bit shaky. I'll be honest. I'm waiting for more data. I'm gonna slightly rest my case on him slightly. He's not got a case yet with me, but I'm waiting to see a bit more before I start.
I feel that's crazy. I think Solanke is doing a very good job leading the line. I
don't think he's done enough to sit here and say he's doing a very good job.
I don't think he's been doing. I think he's been average for me.
Last 3 games.
No. I think for me right now, I think definitely
he's 3 and 3. 3 in his last 3 games.
I think he's been all right so far. Like, obviously, I don't think there's anything that bad I've seen from him. I just think right now, there's still stuff that he looks a bit shaky on at times, stuff that he can improve upon. Once I see that stuff improving, I'm pretty sure it'd be fine. But I wanted to go back to United for one more second, because there's one thing we need to talk about. Chelsea admin decided to have a little bit of fun. You know what I mean? After the game, they just posted a picture of Sancho for some reason, but. If you know, you know, man. You know what I mean? Wow. There's a little, there's a little funny thing called Sancho survived that's trending right now. So, you know what I mean? Sancho survived, man. What can I say?
Yeah, that's pathetic. United fans, just get over it. And Chelsea fans, you need to get over your old players also. Because a lot of your Chelsea fans...
I don't really care about my players. They're playing good. Good for them. They always do, usually.
A lot of people talking about Kai Havertz dunking on Mason Mount 24/7. Just let these guys go.
But that's old stuff, man. That's typical Twitter stuff, man. No one, that one's good.
I think most Manchester fans don't care anymore. He wanted to leave. He left. Fine. I don't want anything bad to happen to Sancho, but I just don't care what he does, to be honest.
Exactly.
Guys, we still have 3 more games to talk about. But Vader, do you have anything else to say on Spurs before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is the thing that, funny enough, rivals want to twist it up on Spurs fans when they have a manager that is whether it's to their detriment, but sticking to a philosophy. Rivals fans want to keep crashing it on Spurs because he's only got one plan, and that if that plan ain't working, nothing's going to work. But listen, sometimes as a manager, if you have the support of the club, and I'm talking ownership, and then obviously it's going to require some support from the fans, but he's got to figure out who can actually play for him or who can't, who can actually play his system, do or die, and who can't. So I get why he took some L's early. I get why all that hype about leading the league last season and crashing and falling off. But you learn. Every manager learns from this. And to play that way at Old Trafford, it says a lot. It says a lot in terms of the players that he trusted. It says a lot about the players that he actually started, because we got to admit, Song wasn't on that pitch, right? Like, Spurs are actually better. Technically, they're better than what you saw today. So I thought Jay deserves a lot of praise for his club and how they played against United, as bad as United are. But again, they looked good. And I'm not, hey, before anybody in the chat says, oh, Vader, and you know what? I don't like this gen about men twerking and glazing and like that's weird.
Yeah.
Gawk 3000s, yeah,
that's crazy. That was crazy. Hey.
But I will say that Spurs, there's a reason why they were that good last year and why they fell off due to injuries. I think if Ange gets his players, and obviously relying on Timo is a problem, but if he gets his players, yeah, Spurs are in the mix. This it's shameful to be competing for the top four. That's going to be dead, because there's going to be clubs that legit all have a right to be fighting for that spot. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
No, and one thing I just wanted to just touch on is, like, from a Spurs point of view, like, I feel this is a performance that will make people kind of look at us differently. But I think the data for me has been what this performance has been coming. Someone was going to get this, because, like, in the game year on year, I look at it and I'm like, right, okay, how have we performed year on year? So last year, 2-2 United. This year, 3-0 away. Last year, tricky 3-2 win at home against Everton. This year, 4-0. You know, last year, Brentford 3-2. This year, 3. Like, the margins are improving. The set piece stuff, no one talks about it anymore. But Spurs, you know, we conceded to, like, literally the best set piece team in the world, Arsenal, and everyone lost their mind. But then City concede to them. Leicester concede to them. Like, every game's a team concede to Arsenal via a set piece. So, like, Spurs have fixed up the set piece stuff. If you look at Spurs' style of play as well, really only City play it. Like, it is City and
Chelsea. They play attacking.
Chelsea are a little bit more. They're a bit more pragmatic than us. They're not super pragmatic, but they're more pragmatic than us, and they've also got more needle movers. Like, you look at a Palmer or something. Like, if you just put Palmer in Spurs' team, Spurs would be like crazy. Because the thing is,
if you put Palmer in most teams, they're going to be better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They've got good.
You know what, Jay? I think that's a good segue. Let's talk about Chelsea and Cole Palmer. Man just broke a Premier League record. First player in Premier League history to score 4 goals before halftime. Now, I know Vader's not here, but this is probably one of Pep Guardiola's biggest mistakes in having this.
You know what, man? This is making up for us losing KDB.
You can't sell Palmer and sign Doku.
This is by the way, this is us making. This is Man City repaying us for giving them KDB in it. So
One second. Technically, it's not KDB or Mo Salah, because they did not sell. You guys sold them to another club. Then they
but essentially he came from our club. He didn't make it, but he did make it. But he made it to my club. I get it's worse, but at the end of the day, this is like, I'm saying, in terms of like
they lost Riyad Mahrez. They lost Riyad Mahrez. They already had Grealish in their house, and they said, Cole Palmer, you can leave because we have Grealish. We're gonna bring in Doku.
But to be fair, Igal, did anyone see? I never heard Palmer talked about in what
bro. You know who he used to be? The guy that scored today.
I think he's overperforming what people thought he was capable of too.
Yeah,
because
Jay,
I've never heard anyone talking about Palmer being.
I know, but when you have a talent, When you have a
Yeah.
talent in-house, when you have somebody already in your building and you're seeing them on a regular basis, you should be able to see the level of potential.
Yeah,
I
but
just
see,
think,
but
but
the
they
thing is,
also had guys. By the way, they had guys like Delap, for example, who just is actually just scored for Ipswich. For
yeah,
example. So,
Delap looks
yeah,
great. As well,
even the guy, there's a guy that's on their bench now, yeah, Mac T, who was even rated higher than Palmer. Obviously, he hasn't reached that yet, but like they've had like monsters
Yeah,
that they've
don't forget Sancho is a City boy too.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying. Even Oscar Bob, for example, they obviously got like a leg injury, right? So they've definitely got a lot of guys there. Sometimes
Savinho,
when you,
I mean, if you got Savinho,
I think it's just the case they've just got so much quality.
For me,
that's what I'm saying, Rich. Yeah,
sometimes
you can't guess where a player's going to be in a couple of years' time.
Oh yeah, Lavia too. I forgot Lavia is another one. They had Lavia.
Lavia was City too. Yeah,
yeah. So
if you look at Palmer and Elise, specifically those two really jumping out to me, where I know you're rubbing your eyes because you could have had Elise too.
That was my guy, man. I used to actually watch this guy at Crystal Palace and back in the day, man. Oh my God.
Even I think my only caveat to Saka versus those two is both of those two guys played right wing and the 10, and they can both play to equally similar standard. And these guys are just, you know, these dynamic left-footed right wingers. They're really like Palmer is, because I was even saying earlier in the season, I was like, I'm not sure Palmer's a better playmaker than Maddison, because I'd never seen him in the 10. He was always playing off the right wing, and people were just like, he's a great 10. And I'm like, but he never plays there. And now I'm seeing him in the 10, and I'm like, I don't know what you can. This guy is just, he's performing at an Erling Haaland output rate.
Do you know what he is, bro? Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day, and I was actually said it. I know it's like obviously an FM term, yeah, but he's basically like, he acts as a shadow striker for us essentially, because Jackson essentially can play that 10 role because of the way he plays. All he has to do is just get into that space essentially, and he's got the space to basically score. So you've basically provided him a new area for him to actually work through. Because on the right, what would happen more than likely? He would get doubled up. Yes, we might have Gusto overlapping him, but he would still be 2v1. But at least in the central, once you can get a Jackson because he's so good at his job.
But the other thing as well.
Guys, I just had a thought. I want to think out loud. Is he basically a regen of Frank Lampard? Modern Frank Lampard?
No, I would say
because Lampard had the defensive work. Lampard was actually like a.
I know Lampard was actually a midfielder, but I'm saying he's playing as like a second striker in the system.
Palmer's like, for me, Palmer's very unique because, like, you can say the shadow striker. I'd say like a Dele Alli played shadow striker, but he was more light touches. Do you know what I mean? Ali didn't necessarily run the game. He would be a difference maker and contribute, but he wasn't the playmaker of the whole team. Palmer is a playmaker. He's a goal scorer. He's an assister, and it's a good point you know about the shadow striker, because basically where he's operating now, he's operating just outside the box, you know, just in that. And the thing is Chelsea have good wingers, yeah, or they have wingers who are capable of taking you one-on-one. So the problem that when you play Chelsea and with Palmer and all these things is it's hard to double up on him, because the other players require attention too. So you've got Noni who's running at the left back, and the left back, Noni might be getting past him. And the left back's like, shit, I need somebody to cover. But then the other player's like, I can't cover because I'm marking Palmer. And the other guy's like, okay, cool. Well, you know, I'm just gonna jam here and mark Sancho. And all of these guys are basically saying, right, one-on-one, wait, like this. Chelsea is saying Palmer's gonna beat you one-on-one. Noni's going to beat you one-on-one. Yeah. Sancho's going to beat you one-on-one. Yeah. And you can't bring somebody over to double up, because then you're going to leave somebody else free. And I do think that's what Chelsea really benefit
on the ball. And if you go past people, something that a lot of players don't do, it's not just about goals for him. I think he takes people out of the team. Like I said, when he skipped past a couple of people, and then people he then has the ability to finish. So if you try and close them down, you can also pick people out.
Do you see what I mean? He can shoot. He goes through. He can shoot. If you try and close him down, he'll lay it off to his teammate. He's just, I'm shocked the levels that Palmer is showing us. Like I'm genuinely, when I would watch him at City, I'd be like, this guy's pretty good. Like he's got, you know, he's got good potential. He'll be a decent player. But I watched him for England under 21s too, and I never was watching him thinking, "Oh my God, this guy is going to be doing what he's doing now."
Yeah, maybe get more freedom in different teams though. With City, I guess
I
some of the
think,
things
you
he's
know,
doing now he wouldn't be able to do.
You know what it is, Rich, yeah, and I'll say it like this, yeah. I think the thing with City, because Pep Guardiola has a style of play, like he has that system where essentially you have to do this. I don't care about your individual brilliance. I don't care about the skills that you have. I just want you to do this thing, right? It's basically hampers players' ability to do, individual
Stuff
and
that Palmer does, like Greece before him. I think it's that you see a different aspect of the game. Like with Palmer, maybe it's like he.
1 second, guys. Vader's making faces. We got to talk about
this. Vader knows it's true. I've said this to Vader before.
Vader, simply put, we're saying this is one of Pep's biggest mistakes. Even you have to acknowledge that.
Bro, before Vader goes, Vader knows I've said this before, and the reason why I've said this, Arsenal's a good example of this actually, where the system was not working consistently in the second half to produce chances, right? But if you had a player that could have just created that moment of brilliance from their own skill set, rather than following that system, that could have been a 2-2, 3-2 game.
Which game?
I was talking about the Arsenal game when you guys were playing that really, really low block against 10 minutes, for example. Yeah,
well, that's a little different. You're facing City at home.
Even Newcastle, another one. You can stay to make the same argument for Newcastle as well.
Okay, all right.
Vader, acknowledge Palmer's a mistake.
No, I'm not acknowledging Palmer's a mistake. You're not going to set me up to acknowledge that. Listen, this is what we're going to say, and I love the praise that Cole Palmer's getting. I love the praise that he's getting. You know, because I think hopefully every academy player that's trying to decide on which academy to go to, come to Manchester City. Come to Manchester City, because if you don't make it at our first club, we won't force you to stay here. We won't force you to just ride on the bench. You'll get your opportunity to get to a big club. That's what we do. We don't hoard talent. We actually give it away. We give it away. You're welcome, Chelsea. Now, Cole Palmer.
We gave you KDP, man. Thank you too, bro. I mean,
you gave I directly gave you Cole Palmer. You didn't directly give me KDB, but we'll move. With regards to Cole Palmer, I give him tremendous props. He's playing exceptionally well. We saw this talent at City, and this is the reason what you guys trying to get me to say Pep made a mistake. Listen, Pep had a wealth of talent around him. And he wants players that want to play and fight here. If a player says, I want to go, we're not going to force you. We're not going to wait. Once your head's turned, we're saying, listen, okay, grass is greener, you think? All right, see ya, go. He left us. We acknowledge that. You wanted guaranteed playing time. You know where he's getting that? Everyone else but City. City does not guarantee any playing time. So I don't fault him for it. Many City fans are like, hey, do your thing. I wish we could have kept you here longer. But once the mentality is, I want more, you got to go. We did it with Sterling. We do it with Jesus. All right? We did it with Zinchenko. And Cole Palmer is kind of like one of the latest ones. There's no mistake here. It's just a wealth of greatness that we happen to have at this club. Cole Palmer, if he happens to be the master lock, with Ahmed is trying to tell me, if we had him versus Arsenal, it might have been a 3-2. If we have Cole Palmer, all things calm. Okay, make sure you keep doing that over there at Chelsea. But I'm going to point this out, and I love this league. You know that. We all love this league. If teams are going to be playing the same way against City versus Chelsea, and I see Cole Palmer doing his thing, I'll admit we made a mistake. If I'm seeing teams defend against City the way they start defending against Chelsea, and Cole Palmer's still able to get away from the low block, he's also still able to get away from the double teams. I'm gonna say 100% we missed out on him. But it's a wait and see right now. Overhype, Chelsea fans, you should do that. Overhype. Say he's the master unlocker.
He's got a point. Chelsea still have teams still play Chelsea on the level. Teams aren't low blocking Chelsea quite at the moment yet. They're still playing you like 50-50
we can admit that. We can admit that teams are not respecting Chelsea the same way they respect Man City. That is accurate. But one thing we cannot acknowledge, we cannot forget about. Or just having the distance memory, what he did for his international team when he had to go up against a team with a low block, when he had to go up against countries where they're literally sitting their whole back four and their midfield in front of England's attack. And he was one of the guys who constantly broke it down for England coming off the bench to make a massive difference. I do think Cole Palmer, what he's shown at Chelsea, what he's shown on international level, this is going to turn out to be one of City's biggest mistakes.
I think it's also to that point. I think we can say, okay, it's a problem, it's a mistake over at City. I think at the same time, why were Chelsea the only ones smart enough to go after him? I think you should also look at your own clubs to be like,
Big up to my scouting guy. Big up to my scouting department, man. Big up to my scouting department, man. You know, that's what I'm talking about.
You know what I mean? Like other clubs, why weren't you also in the mix to get this Cole Palmer? Why was Chelsea only smart enough, right? Why was Edu sitting on his hands not looking for Cole Palmer? That's a couple things you want to ask your clubs. That's it. That's it.
All I'm gonna say, one thing, I think that's a positive about the new ownership they've got is that the scouting department we've got now, I have to say, probably is as good as it was back in 2014 when we had Manalo. He was our sporting director at the time, and he was able to find like all a bunch of the gems that obviously left to become better players at the clubs. But like he actually found those.
I'm not gonna hear the scouting department report, because when you do what Chelsea do and you buy so much talent, you're eventually gonna have a lot of hits.
Yeah. You know what? No, I'm not hearing that, bro.
What you guys are doing, you want credit for the same thing that people have to do on a budget, where you guys are doing it with 1 billion.
No. Listen, no, I'm not hearing that.
It's a little bit different when Brighton do it to when Chelsea does it, spending $1 billion. But hey, Cole Palmer balled out, amazing performance. I think everyone spoke about it. The game itself, you guys, let's be honest, Sanchez is an enemy to your own team. Like the way he's giving away goals. Enemy to your own side, but hey.
But again, you know the thing of Scarlett, not Scarlett. Sorry,
you know, talk about City. So let's move on.
Okay, all right.
Vader, you better get back here as soon as possible, my brother, because we told you, Newcastle. Are you sure you're worried? Are you not worried about Newcastle? We told you. Are you not worried about Newcastle, Vader? We said to you, Newcastle away, City could drop points. No Rodri, and life without Rodri hit you pretty hard. Vader is not here, but once he gets here, he's definitely going to have to talk about it. But Jay, are you surprised Newcastle took points off City? Because I'm not. I really am not. I thought this was one of the games where I could have seen a potential banana skin. And Rich, you must have been surprised.
I was a bit surprised. Didn't Newcastle beat Spurs, didn't they, in the season?
Yeah.
To be fair, go ahead, bro.
I think it's just you get used to City winning all the time, don't you? And you think that a couple of injuries, they'll probably just adapt. They'll still be fine. So I'm a bit surprised that they didn't win that game. But I think it's unfortunately I'm a neutral in the title race this season. But it's made it more interesting because now you've got 3 teams doing really well. But I think it's one of these things that you look at the last few games and teams are dropping points, like Liverpool lose at home to Forest. So the title might be changing in like a weird way, where there's some surprising results, whereas the big games at the moment have pretty much gone as expected. So I think it's not. I don't think it's complacency. It's just one of those things. I didn't actually see the game. That was the early kickoff, wasn't it? So I don't know whether Newcastle played really well or whether it's just an off day by City. But I think maybe sometimes City just rely on taking the lead and just trying to control games. And I think maybe that's one where it hasn't worked out for them. Good. It's good to see though, because it's get a bit boring when City win.
Before Vader comes, and by the way, the moment Vader we need to hear from him. But Ahmed, talk to me.
You know, I actually watched the game. I actually think Newcastle had a really good game against them, particularly like in the first half and the second half. They did a really great job. That switch that they were doing, which was really good. They actually got at Guardiola quite a few times actually defensively, even though I know he scored the first goal. But like, credit to where credit is due. Anthony Gordon was able to get the penalty for them. I just think again with City that right now is, you know, if you can take Haaland out of the game and you kind of reduce his ability to basically score or like even just get like a touch to on target to goal, you're kind of in safe hands right now, because obviously Gundogan doesn't look like he's in his prime form as of yet. Obviously they had Grealish. Grealish was actually kind of doing something, but like again, the others really weren't there for him. Kovacic in the 6 wasn't as great either, in my personal opinion. But like, again, this is probably one game-ish. And then obviously you don't have Foden. And Foden, obviously, I know he's a notoriously slow starter, but you kind of need him now because he's not got KDB and you're also missing out on Rodri. So you need someone, you actually kind of need Foden to be stepping up to the plate.
Free me from Staffy. What did Staffy
do? Much too reliant on Haaland. Like, Haaland has been a complete beast this season. Do you think City have become a bit too reliant on him? I was surprised he got that goal against Arsenal, because Arsenal are usually pretty solid in defence.
Outside of
I would say, Rich, on that just really quickly is this: City to me have been used to having, they have players who are just the needle movers. Do you know what I mean? Who like the KDBs, Foden, Haaland, and this season it's been mainly Haaland. And then I look around the rest of the team and I see people who can contribute, but I'm not necessarily seeing the same level of contribution from the players around him. Not to say they're bad players or anything. It's just Vator knows that I think that Doku is very similar to Adama Traore, and I actually think Adama Traore. I actually think Adama Traore.
I don't agree with that one personally.
No, I think that's. I do think there's similarities. I call him Alan Saint Minimum. You know what I mean? Saint Maximum, Saint Minimum. Yeah, cool. I know, tough crowd. But I was watching this player, and I look at these players, and I think that's a big thing. It's like Foden was what 20 goals did he get last season? I don't know how many goals he got. Haaland, all his goals. KDB with his assists, and then you bring in newer players. Grealish, he doesn't assist as much. Doku can be a bit up and down. Savinho looks good, but again, that output needs to, the GA that you're getting guaranteed when you have like people like Sane and Mahrez and all these. It's just they need time to get to that level.
But do you know
Doku's overrated because of his speed?
The thing with Doku is when I was watching him at Rennes, because that's the team I usually watch in League, and they produce the most talent usually, and it's like he's very direct, he's very good 1v1. The thing about him I always said was that he needed to improve on, then once you beat the guy, you dribble past him, it's time for your decision making to improve, and then your finishing to improve. And I thought at City, Pep Guardiola was going to be the guy that's going to at least help him facilitate that. But it seems at City, all they're asking from him really is just dribble past someone and then just pass the ball. And then the thing is, I don't think he necessarily works at that effectively, in my personal opinion. That's what the issue is. And I think you can make a similar argument even for Grealish. My issue with Grealish when he's been playing at Man City is that we've been playing him as a wide touchline winger when he's not really a wide touchline winger, because what he usually does, gets the ball on that side, he kind of goes into the middle, and when he was at Aston Villa, and then he would do that pass, you would find that little pocket of pass to the person, who goes to the striker, and then he scores. And he doesn't play like that at City, because you've then got KDB there, and then you've got also a system you've also got the system of Pep, which wants him to be a wide winger, which I don't think works out. So some players they brought don't fit the system itself.
And I also think Pep coaches them in a way where they lose that special thing about
exactly, God. That's what I've always said, bro. The issue is, they actually do lose that special. Like if you look at players once they leave Pep,
Savio is already using some of his special.
Yeah. When you like, I always say, like you guys, everyone here has watched different players that have left Pep, and the way they've looked afterwards. They don't look like the guys that they usually are, when like, some of them look way better when they leave Pep, and some of them look like, how was he getting that out of him? You know what I mean? Like that's what. So it's that's where this comes down to for me more so than anything else, really.
All right, Vator, where you at, man? Get back here.
Vator's hiding, man.
We need Vator ASAP. I'm just gonna say this: if Man City are going to go out without Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne for an extended period, and Foden's not going to be back in this squad, I'm looking at Foden. I'm like, why can't you be playing? I know you came back from some sort of injury. I don't know the extent of the injury. If it's a serious injury and he's not able to play from the beginning of the game and he's on the bench, understandable. But he was the player of the season last year, and he's not performing yet. He hasn't got an opportunity to play much yet. Bernardo Silva is supposed to be world class. He was telling Arsenal to be humble, be like Liverpool, blah, 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 blah. You couldn't beat Newcastle. Like, really? You got Pep coming out here saying it's war with Arsenal, and you stood and you couldn't beat Newcastle. You guys are telling me you guys are a better team than every other team in the league. And once Rodri is gone, you guys fall off. I don't want to hear this stuff about Haaland being City's best player, Foden's being City's best player. City's actual best player is Rodri. And there shouldn't be any debate about that anymore, in my opinion. That is their best player. He is their best player. And as long as he's gone, they're going to feel it. Life without Rodri is not going to be fun. And
bro, Rodri is the best CDM in the world, Igal. Like, I think we can all agree here.
I agree. Forget about CDM, the best midfielder in the world.
Bro, like what he does for that team, yeah, like in terms of like the defensive and then helping to create and start stuff for that team, bro. It's irreplaceable. It's irreplaceable because until we can find someone else that can do that job for you. So it's but then in the summer, I'm pretty sure you were hearing this, Igal, when City fan was saying we haven't got a replacement for Rodri. You know what I mean? This is where sometimes you have to look at your transfer, someone transfer and be like, why do we not get someone, as backup for him?
I don't know. They're gonna have to go into the summer, to the January transfer window, and go buy a Zubimendi or somebody. They're gonna need to get cover, and if they don't, it's gonna be a long time. It sucks that Vader just getting back here now.
Wow,
Vader, I can't believe this. You're missing.
Don't escape your crimes, mate. Don't escape your crimes, man.
You missed the whole Man City segment. You're on mute. You're on mute.
He says mute.
I already know what you guys are talking about. I know.
No.
You guys are gonna listen. It's what time is it? For me, it's 3:37 out here in Toronto. I already know you guys are saying, Pep, what's he gonna do with these injuries? City don't look right. Foden, what's wrong with Foden? KDB, Rodri, they're Rodri FC. You stop Holland, you stop City. I've heard it all. I don't need to be here for that.
Vader just knows it all. He knows it all. You know what? I've got a question that wasn't actually
Vader, one second. Everyone, respectfully, let Vader have his moment. Vader, go ahead. Talk to me. What you said.
Okay, listen. The game versus Newcastle. I was quick to say it was going to be a tough game. You guys want to label me as a gaslighter, playing underdog? No, I said City versus United versus Newcastle was going to be tough. I said it was going to be tough. And last season, do you know what? Last season, I only won that game with a late heroic moment from KDB and Oscar Bob. And those two players weren't here in the game. Those two players weren't available. And I also didn't have Rodri. I knew it was going to be a tough game. Physicality was the thing that made me the most nervous with this game. The most nervous because I've already got injuries. And you guys want to listen. Does this draw have me in meltdown mode? Does this draw have me thinking, you know what? I don't think 5 is going to be possible. I think this is Arsenal's year. Oh, I think this is Liverpool's year. Oh, dare I say, I think this is Chelsea. Let me stop. I'm not going to say it's Chelsea year. But the whole thing with regards to this game versus Newcastle, we didn't look right. We didn't look ready for it. We didn't look ready for the win. We didn't look ready. And when I say we didn't look ready, Pep, I know he's trying to figure out what the combination is. What's my best back four to be able to actually execute and hold possession, have creativity, have the depth, the width, the attacking style that I want without Rodri. Rodri's the guy. Ballon d'Or nominee for a reason. It would be disrespectful if any of you thought you lose Rodri, things are just back to humming normally, smooth machine. No. So Pep's trying to figure this out. Can Kovacic do it? Can him and Rico Lewis as a partnership do it? It doesn't look like so. It doesn't look.
I don't think Rodri can do it, Vaya, because one thing I will say, he did play 6 for me at Chelsea quite a few times, but when Jorginho got injured and Kante did, right? And I don't think he can play that 6 for effective. He just hasn't got he's not even the technical ability, I would say. I just don't think he has that know-how, if that makes sense.
I don't think his brain doesn't watch the game as a 6.
Exactly, yes.
That's fine. So anticipating when to move forward, and because Rodri delivered a lot of key passes as well as shots for us. And he also was able to dissect where the threats were and get the quote-unquote Fernandinho tactical fouls. So Kovacic isn't quite there yet. Now, what I want to see...
think it was a penalty? Because City fans are saying it was not a penalty.
All right, now I know Igal doesn't follow me on Twitter. I said, hey, we don't get all the calls all the time, right? I think the referee missed one, but we move. I don't want any excuses. We should have won that game. Gundogan in 2 instances. But Gundogan in his form, when he's like clicking, we score those. And he should have laid up a pass, an easy pass over to Holland early in that game where Holland should have gotten his second goal. So I'm chill. I'm chill with all of this. If the game comes down to if 4 games from now, not even league games, if 4 games from now I still see confused, not sure how to play, then yeah, I'll have an eyebrow raised, be like, what's going on here? But this is Pep trying to make things work without KDB, without Rodri, and all you rivals want to go after Foden. You know why you're going after Foden? You're going after Foden because he was so nice last season. So that's why you have to go after him now.
Once again, forget about Foden. Where's Bernardo Silva?
Wait, I knew you was going with that.
Where's Haaland was playing the 90 minutes?
Okay.
Where are the other guys? Step up. You have a bunch of world-class players. Forget about Doku. He's inferior. We know that. Forget about Stabio. He's young. Grealish.
Whoa. You're not going to say forget about Doku. He's inferior. He's inferior to who? You better relax. He's better than your left winger.
Excuse me. My left winger got a golden assist. What has Doku done?
Oh, because he got a golden assist, he's now good? Is that what I'm hearing? Martinelli is now in form?
He's been out of form, but he got a golden assist this game. He's better than what you got. Chelsea, Sancho's been better than Doku. Let's look at Spurs. Spurs, they have Son, better than Doku. Manchester United, Rashford's out of form. He's still better.
Man, you can even say Brennan Johnson. I'll allow you to say Brennan Johnson.
You know, Brennan Johnson's got more DNA than actually, I think. So he
does more DNA than Doku.
He's got it, bro.
I think you need to stop.
You know how I feel about Doku.
You need to stop protecting Doku. And forget about Foden. We know Foden's great. We've seen what he did last season. We're holding him to a standard that he should be at. Doku doesn't have a standard. I view Doku the same way I view Mudryk right now. That's what I view.
Whoa. I don't know, man. Mudryk is
let's not throw the baby out with bathwater.
Yeah. That was
crazy.
You know what it is? My hot take has always been he shouldn't have gone to Man City. Man City was not the right club for his development. That's my take. I
think if he was a team like Tottenham,
if you went to Tottenham, Dortmund, even I would argue us here. If you came to us here in this current state with the way we play 1v1 football, I think he would actually improve vastly compared to what he's doing at Man City. That's my hot take.
Beta, are you happy with Doku? Like, I'm not, because the thing is, all young players, like same with Brett. Like, listen, they go up and down. It's not linear. There's times that you have to defend the players because they're not delivering on what we know their potential and ability is. So there's no issue about that. I know Doku has a high ceiling, but the problem for me with these kind of players, these kind of tricky wingers, is there's almost a logic that at a certain point in their career it's going to click and they're going to make better decisions. And a lot of the time with these kind of players, they don't. Like how they play when they're 21, 22, 23 is how they play. Like a player, if you have good decision making, Neymar had elite decision making from 16, didn't change. You know, like Salah had good decision making, even when he was at Basel and he was a different kind of winger. Yeah. So I'm looking at players like Doku, and there's an element of.
I'm happy with Doku.
No, I'm framing it for you. There's an element as well of can I just ask about his natural ability versus the tactical framework? Because we're seeing, I know Pep doesn't tell your wingers not to do anything. Do you know what I mean? Per se.
Who doesn't do anything?
Pardon?
Bro, they only have one job. They only have one job to do.
What's the job? Just dribble.
The only dribble a little bit, go wide, pass back for me, please. That's all they do, bro. That's their job, bro. And that basically means any winger they have, bro. Listen, man, you might as well pack up your old abilities, man. I'm sorry.
The Bridge Nation. This is what I love. This is what I love about this panel as well. You know what? I'm gonna be watching. It's easy to say, Igal, you're on mute, and rightfully so. It's easy to say.
I was saying Rich is being too nice to you because you guys both drop points.
What? Rich is still feeling it from earlier. That's calm. I understand. He's probably.
I feel like Rich is in shock. I feel like Rich is in shock right now.
The quality that Man City have got, the quality Man City have got for the last couple of years, Doku isn't at the level, surely, of the other players you've had. For me, I look at him and think, okay, I can see why people find him exciting. He's quick, he's direct. In the cup final, he was probably the most dangerous player last season. But for me, I don't think he's as good as like you're saying. I think he's a decent player, but I think what's the output going to be? I don't think he scores enough. I don't think he creates enough.
Is Doku better than Martinelli? Because Blaze is saying Doku is better than Martinelli.
He's had more DNA than last season.
I like Martinelli. I think Martinelli in form has shown me 15 goals in the Premier League. Like I know that might not be his consistent level. That might have just been a purple patch. But Martinelli and Doku, there's a decent amount of similarities between the players, you know, in terms of what they do. I think, to me, Martinelli is more of a chaos merchant. Like Martinelli, even when he's not scoring GA and stuff, he's you know, people are panicking, people are flustered. Doku, I feel for his ability and skill level, I do feel like it's not that he gets locked down too much. He doesn't express himself to the abilities that I know he has enough.
But again, Jay, that is kind of down to the
No.
That's reality. It is like, you know, you can't run away from this, my guy.
I'm not running away. I'm gonna say this real quick. You guys all want to say, "Oh, Doku would have been better going to such and such club." No, he wouldn't have been better because he wouldn't have raised the 4. All right, he was right to come to Manchester City. Okay, now I'm gonna say with Doku,
you won that league, but Doku had no impact in.
That's not true. That's not true.
What? But the Bournemouth game.
No, Doku was important to us last year because Jack actually had an off year last season.
And Doku was not better. Like he
no, but we would listen. We needed. Doku was in his year 1. I like what I saw from him. I know what the freshman year jinx is as a City player, so I'm happy with what I saw. Yes, do I want to see more 6 games into a season? 100%. But if you guys are trying to label that this is Doku, Jay talking about, oh, by 21, 22, 23, the player is what the player is. No, there's a reason why Liverpool fans are happy with Diaz right now, right? And he's quote unquote had a slump. There's a reason why Gal's happy with Martinelli right now because he's raised his level based off of the slump that he had for almost a season. Now, Doku is going to be good. And what I want to see, and this is why I'm calling out the Bridge Nation. I want to see what your wingers do when they face the defenses that I face. When teams set up the same way.
Don't worry, I'm waiting. I'm here.
All right? I'm watching.
1 second.
But the thing is, VATOR.
No, 1 second. How about you break low blocks? Because that's 3 games back to back. You can't break a low block to win a game.
I broke a low block. That's how I got the draw.
No. Inter, low block, you drew. Arsenal, low block, you drew. Newcastle, low block, you drew. I'm seeing is it a coincidence?
Newcastle didn't hit us with a low block, Iga.
In the second half, you guys were the ones actually defending.
You're all over the place. We did not play a low block. But you're right with regards to Arsenal. You executed a low block, but we did score against a low block. The final score was a draw, yes, but we scored to get a draw versus a low block. And Inter, I give Inter tremendous respect, and I rate them. It'd be interesting to see how Arsenal happened to play against Inter. So you better be easy with how you talk about things.
I actually want to hit your. I want to hit a point in here. We faced a low block against Bournemouth. Bournemouth, in the second half decided we're gonna look Bournemouth. Second half. I said specifically second half. Decided to go low block in it against us. So that's when he started. Listen, and we kind of we got a goal against that low block. So say what you will. You got the job done there.
I'm watching.
Keep watching, man. Keep watching.
You
got Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest will actually low block against us. I'm telling you right now, Nottingham Forest will low block against us, bro.
You're using Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth. Wait on the Newcastle and
Have you seen how good Nottingham Forest have been recently, bro? Come on, we can't do that. Nottingham Forest have been really talented this season.
All right, guys. Let's move on to the final topic. Arsenal. People are telling me Arsenal were lucky to beat Leicester, and I find that kind of insulting. I think we were actually battering them the whole entire game, and unlike certain teams in the past, we got the breakthrough. We ended up getting the breakthrough. We ended up getting the victory. Statistically, that was actually the best chance creation and shots in a game all season by any team in the league. We had 37 shots, 17 on target. The goalkeeper made 13 saves. That was the best goalkeeping performance since David.
What was expected XG?
Expected XG was 4.99.
What was the best game before that one? Before you guys did it, who had the best game?
City against us.
Versus who?
Arsenal.
And you're talking about Leicester.
Yeah.
All right, man. All right. Which one's better?
You know what's crazy? We're doing this to a team that could finish last in the league.
1 second. By the way, even though you had more shots, your XG was nowhere near ours. Your actual shots on target was nowhere near ours. 17 shots on target, bro. The goalkeeper made 13 saves. Do you understand how ridiculous that is?
It's
You know what?
Leicester.
Can we be honest again a little bit? Yeah,
It's
let's be a bit
Leicester,
honest.
Egal. Let's be real.
Let's be real, bro. One thing I'm gonna say about the at the very least here about this game is that yes, you deserve to be 2-0 up. There's no denying that. I kind of like agree with that at the end of the day. I think for me, if there is a worry about Arsenal, yeah, is the way he kind of slightly went to sleep here and allowed them back into the game to make it 2-2. That's what my issue is.
The goal was a wonder goal. What can you do?
No, but the thing is, bro, even before the wonder goal, bro, they were knocking on the they were beginning to knock on the door, bro. They were beginning to knock on the door to get that second goal. Even if even if that didn't go in, there could have possibly been a chance where that could have gone in to make it 2-2. So that's the point I'm trying to make it, guys. So are you not worried? I think yes, I'm happy about the win. I get a 4-2. We keep it pushing, but are you not worried a little bit about how you allow them back into the game? I think that's a fair point to ask you.
Because the expected chances for those two goals together is 0.06. The likelihood of those goals ever being scored again like that is very unlikely. We conceded 2 goals. We conceded 2 goals.
We're talking about that Calafiori goal against City, or we're talking about something else?
No. I'm talking about Justin's goal.
No, it's just because when you guys scored 0.02 opportunities, it's like, yes, Calafiori technique. And when they listen, you were lucky. You weren't lucky based off the game because you should have been out of sight. But once it got to 2-2, it was an own goal that got you back in front. So that, to me, I think you were lucky. And that's the most. When you don't play a low block, hey, you're susceptible to conceding goals too, eh? Like you played a Leicester team.
I got 2 questions for you.
We 15 goals. How many goals are you on right now? 15 goals.
Jay, what?
The 15 goals that you say you're gonna. How many goals are you on right now?
No. We've conceded what? 4 goals or 5? I forget.
That's already 10 left. How many more games left already? Thank you very much, man. You know what I mean? They can't beat Terry and Cavalier, bro. You know what I mean?
I never thought we were gonna get that anyway.
Yeah, like us. Look, because
one second. Let me acknowledge this though. You guys are sitting here and making it seem like the 2 Justin goals that were scored are something that's gonna happen. It took a wonder goal for the second goal and the first goal, which was a header from that came from absolutely nothing, from the set piece where I think it was deflected even slightly. Let's not make it seem like this was something.
No, like you dominated the game. You played, like, from what I saw, you played really well. You created lots of chances. The Leicester keeper was on smoke. I'm just saying, with Leicester having come back to 2-2, the own goal that got you back in front, that's fortunate. Not saying across the game you didn't deserve to win the game. I'm saying the way it played out at the end, you could say we put pressure on. You brought on Nwaneri. He played well, added energy to the team. Like, good decision by Arteta. But I'm just saying that the Premier League is a strong league. And every time you play somebody, 1-0, 2-0, like even against United, like I was so happy we scored that goal early. Because even at 2-0, United had 10 minutes where they were putting us under pressure. And I was
Can you guys see the screen? Everyone, please see the screen. Is this normal? Be honest. Is this? But
it go. The reality is, bro, what the Leicester goalkeeper Henderson did, it's probably gonna happen 1 or 2 more times, bro. It happens sometimes when you're a top team where you're facing just a goalkeeper sometimes, particularly that's in the lower part of the table, who just a smoke. Like a good example I can give you. Remember that period where Southern had all these great goalkeepers, who were just like masters at saving goals consistently, whenever they needed points. Like Pickford was one of them at one point in time. I forget there was another gentleman at the time that I think was a Greek guy that was doing it for them. Like there's gonna be periods where, particularly these lower teams, where you're gonna face goalkeepers that are gonna do this stuff. It's gonna happen.
I understand, but I'm just showing you guys what you guys wanted to see. You wanted to see the XG. You wanted to see the shots. You want to see the shots on target, the chances created. This game took us from 13th in chance created to 1st, just to show you guys the level that we made a jump in one performance.
Let me ask you another question. No. Are you not worried? You're creating so many chances. You're doing everything correctly, but it's taking you until the 97th minute for your attackers to put the ball to the back of the net.
No, because this is not a normal thing.
No, that one's a little bit of a cheeky joke. Slightly trolling.
This is not a normal thing. Understand, we're just getting ourselves going. That game, for the first time, we've seen the left-hand side cooking with Calafiori and what do you call it, Martinelli. What is more concerning is that Calafiori might actually be injured now. That's what's more concerning. He has a knee injury apparently. So
damn.
Okay. No, that's hopefully it's not. Hope he's not.
That's a shame. One of your 64 left backs will have to step in for him.
That's what. Don't worry, man. He's still got Timber. I said this before. Still got Timber.
No. Y'all remind us all the time we can't complain about injuries. I hear that. But Igal, I want to ask you real quick.
Yeah.
Because it's important based off of this game to look at how you performed and also take into account how you've spoken about other clubs in past games. You've often said, I don't care how many shots you took, you didn't score. I don't care how many shots on target you hit, you didn't score. So Man City typically have results like these. Manchester City usually are the ones with the high chance creation, with the high shot volume, with the high shots on target. And a keeper will play out of their mind for the day. Now, my question to you is, do you think Arsenal are going to be more like this? Or is it like this because it was Leicester? Because your form typically is a lot more reserved, a lot more calculating. You talking about haram football and all that kind of stuff. Are we going to see more of this? Arsenal?
I like the accent on the haram.
It's a little haram football. Yeah, I like that, man.
Or are we going to see? Are we going to see your old form? Which one? Which one?
I don't know if you know, we're going to be playing the Champions League on Tuesday versus PSG. I expect us to.
That's going to be a good game.
You expect what?
I expect us to attack them. Get a goal. Get 2 or 3 goals.
Attack them.
Attack PSG. Hey, he's not been watching PSG, man. He's not been watching.
I got one more question for you.
We're not sitting back. We're not sitting back versus PSG. We're not sitting back versus Southampton. At home, we are more of an attacking team than we are away from home. Surprisingly, when we go away to Bournemouth, you might see a more defensive performance than you would see at home versus Bournemouth. And that's just how we play.
All right, one more thing I want to ask you.
Away from home, we don't concede too many goals.
All right, Igal, real quick, because maybe not you, but a lot of your fan base, and I'm going to refer to, because it's fresh. It's still fresh. The Arsenal and City game.
You're really triggered for the.
I can't lie. You might be rattled here, Beta, bro. I don't know what you're bringing.
I'm not triggered, but I'm looking for consistency. I'm looking for consistency, right? Not the whole emotional wave that I tend to often see from Arsenal fans. There was a lot of talk about City only able to get that draw with the extended time, right? In the 90 minutes, City actually lost the game. Is what I've heard from a lot of Arsenal fans.
All right.
In 90 minutes, Igal, you really drew that game, right?
Technically, we scored in the 94th minute.
He's
okay, all right.
Yeah.
There was still 3 minutes left on extra time. You scored after extra time actually ran out.
Because Raya decided to take a nap for the first 2 minutes of injury time. Like literally lay on the floor saying, did I leave the stove on today? And then you guys have the audacity.
I know
Jay's not for me is Arsenal, because Arsenal fans, whenever they talk about time wasting, I always ignore it, because Arsenal don't time waste, but they take ages to take their set pieces. Yeah, so they're not
Arsenal kicking the ball,
but you are wasting time. So then when an opposition team does it to you, I have no sympathy for Arsenal, because you take a lot of time positioning your players, working out where to put the ball and stuff like that. So if an opposition wants to take time to run the clock down, and you take time to try and position people accordingly so you can maximize the set pieces, you're both taking time.
You want to know something? We're not the ones complaining. People in the Premier League are complaining about Arsenal's dark arts after we had players literally have their leg broken versus teams in the past. But Rich,
what player have you had? What Arsenal player has had his leg broken?
Eduardo.
Tell me which Arsenal players had his leg broken.
That's 2000. What are we doing, bro? Come on, man. 2000
the Wenger era.
Listen, Manchester United.
That's more than 20 years at this point. That's almost 20 years.
Rich, Rich, you can admit gamemanship, the dark arts, nothing's wrong with it. But people, Arsenal are doing it now. All of a sudden, there's a problem with it.
I think, okay, I was watching the game as a neutral as much as I can be watching Arsenal and City. And I think like the red card, obviously, for a neutral ruined it because it became a then one-dimensional game in the second half. But from minute one, there's like time wasting in that game. And you watch it and just think, the ref's just going to add extra time on. And for me, just watching it go, why bother? And like in the first half as well. And it's just a bit frustrating. So you know that like you can't, if it's 6 minutes are added on, Igal, you can't be surprised that extra was played or 7 minutes or whatever it was because there was time wasting throughout the game. So they're just going to add time on anyway. And I don't think it matters if you think it was too late. But I'd say with all the XG stats, which is like a maybe more recent stat, we've seen this for like years in the Premier League. A team's on top. You get it. Sometimes the goalkeeper performance looks better because the strikers aren't clinical enough. So you look at the goalkeeper. Okay,
can we acknowledge one thing though? Trossard's clutch. Can we not talk about him being clutch? Like
we don't need to do because like I think all of us here have said that he's a super sub at this point. So I think we all agree that again, super sub Trossard. I don't think there's no denying
he's
that.
He's playing in the Odegaard position and he's doing a good job.
Can I actually ask you a question, bro? Can I actually ask you a good question? I've got a question for you. Yeah. And it's you've been talking about obviously the dark arts, and I saw there was this big video on Twitter they're showing the Arsenal dark arts. Yeah, I know you know what I'm talking about, particularly about the goalie stuff. Yeah, do you not think that you shouldn't be doing that? Like I feel like other teams don't do it themselves. I wouldn't be surprised because if they start banning that, by the way, like if they do something in the referee school book to ban it, because you're actually impeding goalkeepers from doing their job.
What teams need to acknowledge is that Arsenal, when they put a player there, teams have started putting another player to stop the player that Arsenal has put in there. But now what they're doing is they're adding another player that the goalie has to get through to get the ball. So it's almost like you're blocking the blocking. But Arsenal have so many different, honestly, it's like the Mighty Ducks or something when I'm watching these guys take their set pieces. Just like form it. It's honest, it's actually like genuine, it is actually impressive. Because
there's clutch. It's like they remind me of a guy will know when I say this. When Chelsea under Tuchel, that first in the second season, where all of our defenders used to score from set pieces. Just put the cross in, bang, crossing.
Yeah, but this is different though. This is like they're setting it up so Gabriel just comes and slams some people's heads.
Man City have Erling Haaland. We have set pieces. That's what it is. Yeah. Like we have equalizers. Everyone has to find a way to get.
I won't be surprised to see set piece score 30 goals this season.
Bro, they might get 15 goals. They got 15 goals.
Right now, set pieces right now is on has 4 goals already.
4 goals. 6. Yeah, set pieces is definitely getting 20 in the Premier League.
Maybe 15, not 20.
No, bro.
Last year we scored 17. That was the Premier League record. We scored 17 last year.
We scored 17 last season. I thought it was like 15. No,
wait. Crazy, bro. You're talking set pieces or corners?
Corners, free kicks, and penalties.
Yeah.
I don't even see them scoring that many free kicks. It's all corners. Like when
it's really corners. It's
really corners. That's why I'm saying.
All right, deep breath time. But the thing is, don't you think it affects players too? I'm sure the players who are playing, when they can see the corner, they're like, "Oh shit, here we go."
Declan Rice last year scored against Luton from a free kick to win the game.
Okay.
Anyways, that's an irrelevant point. Guys, we're going to wrap it up here. It's been a great show. We've had over 150 people walking through the door throughout the show so far, plus everyone who's watching it back. So big up to everybody. Also, Ahmed, you got your channel, The Bridge Nation.
I just released a video, which I usually do a weekly video where I talk about all my other rivals and their results and give my opinions in a non-biased manner. I actually give it in a non-biased manner, actually. So I reduced my biasness in that one. So they are actually very kind to Man City in that video. So you will like that video. So of course, please make sure to watch it because I'm trying to do some more regulated content rather than lives right now, just to make my life a little bit more easier. But yeah, tomorrow usually I'm going to do my first FIFA stream tomorrow for career mode. I'm going to have my assistant manager there too. It's going to be manager mode only, so that I don't embarrass myself, playing FIFA. So
you're gonna do it with Chelsea. Okay, fair. Vader, you got any videos coming up? The link to his channel is also in the description, people. And big up Blaze.
Yeah, bless up. I'm gonna do a live tomorrow. At 4:00 UK time. No, I'm lying. 3:00 UK time. So please check it out. Support the thing. And yeah, my show is actually going to be addressing what are City realistically going to do with these injuries? How are we going to perform? And I think this league is honestly no gaslighting, no hyping. I really think this league is wide open. It is wide open. So
I agree. I listen, because the thing as well, when you're looking at the table, it's like the gaps between the teams is small, and every week it's like there's so many results and games.
You're
like,
saying the Rodri injury, Chelsea could win the league, Arsenal could win the league.
No, Chelsea can't win the league.
We can't win the league yet. Top four. I think it's getting good. I'm very happy.
It depends on what Arsenal do, because do you remember when City fell off a little bit and Liverpool ran away with it? If Liverpool had stayed with the pack, it would have been, it would have been more of a race. So really, to me, it's more about if City might struggle to hit 90 points this season, potentially. Yeah. Not saying they won't, but I'm saying it's potential. They need almost all of their key players to be lights out for the season, and
Jay,
also.
Jay, no one as of week 6, no one looks like they're running away with it. That's my point. Not at all. No one's looking like they've got it figured out and they're running away with it. Everyone, quote unquote, has a flaw. Everyone has different schedules in terms of who's playing Champions League, who's having a long run. If whoever prioritizes for this league, I'm telling you.
But things with you're missing Bob and Rodri at the moment. Foden's not fully back. KDB's out. Yeah, so for me, City are missing big players, and they're trying, and Arsenal have got a few injured, like they got Marino out, they got Odegaard out, but so I feel this is going to be a season where nobody's going to be fully fit at all through the season. Everyone's going to be playing through niggles. Players are going to be injured.
That's the amount of games, Jay, and the amount of games as well. The
amount of games is like you got to understand. It's also. Remember City previously when the season starts and they start slowly and we go through that process of, City, maybe it's not going to be their year this year. And then they pick up and they go on a 25-game winning streak or something. I think the league is so interesting because I'm looking at what's the best way to beat teams. And there's no uniform way anymore. I watch Villa play and I'm like, okay, that's a good way. And then I see them drop points to Ipswich. I'll watch City play, and I'll be like, that's a good way. And then I'll see them, drop points to Newcastle. But Newcastle away, I think, to me, it's good that City drew that game because it gives context to the Spurs performance. It gives context to Newcastle away is a very tough ground to go. It is, because it's like, we played better than City did.
I saw how you brought it back. I was smiling and admiring how you brought that back.
All right.
I like the way you played that. I like that you played that, man.
I'm gonna have to go. You guys know I got a busy schedule, just like all you guys do, obviously, and we got to wrap it up. So we're gonna wrap it up here. Rich, thank you for joining us, being the United rep. Of course, we are in the dungeon, so it's difficult sometimes to get your word across, but I do appreciate you coming through. How
United
you doing,
TV,
Rich?
I'm gonna subscribe right now.
Yeah, RD United TV. Talk to me, bro. You got anything coming up?
We're generally live most days, but at the moment, I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about. It's usually
Ten Hag getting sacked.
Usually like post-match stuff, which I've done too much today, so I'll have to see if I can stomach it much more. But usually about like 8:30, 9 p.m. most weeknights, and then we're trying to do a few short videos. But we'll be doing other stuff during the international break as well.
All right, fair enough.
Mainly Manchester United, but we might branch out to talk about other stuff because otherwise it's just going to be Ten Hag stuff, which I don't want to do that every day.
Yeah,
I hear it, but it's going to be a lot of Ten Hag conversation, I can imagine. Anyways, have yourself a wonderful day, guys. Big up to everybody watching. I'm going to make sure that I redirect this to Kaz and Never Foul, as they are going to be going live very, very soon. So please do go check him out. Kaz is probably going to be losing his mind. Deji's going to probably try to cook him. And it's
emergency stream as well, for Saeed as well today. So
what?
Saeed emergency stream. Can't wait for that one still, bro.
Yeah, Saeed. I feel like every week I see an emergency stream with them guys.
Yeah,
there's always an emergency for United, bro. It's crazy, man. I don't know what's going on, man.
I'm so happy
it's not. Well, you know what, man? It's happy when it's not my club anymore, man. I'm so happy it's not my club anymore.
Yo, Jay, you're gonna get to cook him at some point this week. Also, you're gonna have.
Me, I'm. You know what it is? It's like I'm really like knowing that my team is like a young team and Ollie's second year. The team's gonna be So I'm trying. like I'm always like, I big up Spurs when we win. I try not to be like too critical on the opposition because it swings and roundabouts. Like, do you know what I mean? Some days you're the pigeon, some days you're the statue. Do you know what I'm saying?
There you go. Anyways, we're out of here, people. Have yourself a wonderful day. The poll question today was actually, should will Ten Hag be sacked? And 90% said no. So
do you think he will or he won't be?
We will find out.
Do you think
90% he said?
If Southgate got the job, how quickly would you cease to be a United fan?
I don't think he'll get the job. Southgate's not going to get a job in football. I think he's going to get something else.
Okay. But you know him and Dan Ashworth, they're like that. You know, they're
it'll be a very unpopular
I can't lie to
you straight away because it'd be so unpopular.
If that happened, bro, how would you feel actually?
United didn't want to hire a manager in the summer. Southgate wasn't available in the summer.
Rich, if that happened, bro, how would you feel, man?
I would love United next week. I would be a supporter of Manchester United long after Southgate's left. Put it that way.
Yo, that was